An interview with R, who is a major, friendship of mine, but she's also presented on my YouTube channel for a lot of the activities and adventures that I've been on over the last year and a bit. So R is, freshly into the sex positive lifestyle too. She's been in here, like about a year or two. I cover how we met. We talk in detail about how she wrote me a letter off, I was just some girl on the internet and she wrote me some letter and we basically ended up meeting. She also talks about her own sexual evolution and the different phases that she's been in. And she definitely knows me well as a person. She's a real friend. And she talks, a lot about how I am, a bit anti-authority and I don't like to color in the lines. And, I'm pretty blunt and vulgar when I want to be. So this is a fantastic hangout with R. I can't wait for you to hear it. You started with the concept of two men in the same day probably being like a very exotic idea. And now you're like, that's a slow night. That's a slow night.
Oh my God.
Right? Tell me that's not true.
It's true. It's
touch you as a friend, where a friend would touch you still.
Yeah.
I've never touched your meat curtains.
No.
No.
And that would freak me out, I think.
I think
it would be like a jolt of electricity, kind of weird. When I knew you, you had a lot of modeling videos. You had a lot of, I think you had more foul language videos on YouTube that got you in trouble.
Yeah. And
things. And so I saw you learn how to better express yourself to stay within guidelines.
That's true.
And, you fought that, actually. I remember telling you, like, you have a choice. Like, you because you didn't want to tone it down, right? You're like, nobody's going to have authority over me. So
I didn't want to be vocally neutered.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
I am blunt as fuck. And I can talk to make, the most seasoned truckers blush, okay? But no one knows because I'm so fucking clean on YouTube and I sit with my legs closed and I have to put underwear on now because I had to blur my vagina one too many times because I would lift my leg the wrong way and a lip would fall out. And
oops, my pussy fell out.
Right? And I know for some people it's like, how could you accidentally have your pussy fall out? But for me, I'm like, it's very obvious that it happens often. Because I'm very easygoing with my clothing and stuff. Like, I'm comfortable around my swinger friends. I don't care if they actually see my underwear. It's not the end of the world. So now that I'm on a podcast, now that it's audio, it's Spotify and iTunes instead of, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, let's get fucking vulgar, bitch. Let's do it. Let's do it up right. I'm about to fucking, offend some people by accident probably, but whatever. I'm like that kid in school with a knee bumping up and down under the desk, looking around thinking, who else wants to skip this class? So I really am not a color in the lines type of person.
No, and it's very hard to get you to color within the lines, and that's why I'm going to say you toe the line. Mm. You toe the line as much as you possibly can, and every so often you get a little slap again. And a reminder that you need to color a little bit better.
And that's why the podcast, it might take me a few episodes to get comfortable being as vulgar as I've been closeted as that.
Yeah.
Because I can't, my OnlyFans gets it. They get my vulgar.
The most surprising thing that I've learned in this lifestyle is just how many people are in it.
Yes.
You would not imagine. You cannot imagine.
Like, there's one of our friends who's an elementary school teacher who comes and takes multiple gangbangs and stuff, and then, goes to work the next day. You'd never know.
That's it, Yeah. And people from all walks of life, professional, blue collar, white collar, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's students, there's retired people.
A lot of religious spectrum, too. There's really people there who would be you'd be surprised.
Yes, you absolutely would be surprised. To me, that was the biggest surprise, is that it was such an underground kind of lifestyle exists, and yet so many are involved in it. Immediately recognized and said, oh my God, it's the legendary R.
Yeah.
And I just looked at you, I think, like with my eyes wide open, and instead of cringing like I normally would, I pump-fisted, legendary!
Right?
I just embraced it at that moment. I'm like, yes, that's me, legendary.
And that was like, you could have fucked those boys, like, because of your status of that. It was a turning point. And ever since then, the legendary R has been kind of a slang phrase in our friendship.
Yeah, that's very true. So, yeah, that kind of happened, and I guess, you know, rather than fighting it, it kept coming in waves, and so I think at that very moment, I looked around and I said, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm legendary.
Exactly.
Right on, I'm legendary, and I just ran with it. So.
It's true, whether or not, for example, if I ever did go celibate for some reason, if I had an illness or something, I would still be in the lifestyle, because it's not all about what my holes can do, right? It's about my personality, whatever. So there's some sustainability there for me, and so for me, I like that it's more about a mindset and a lifestyle versus whether you actively have sex with people who aren't like your partners or whatever. Like, I like that there's a space for us, you know, whether people want to say that.
And that's why, you know, I'll say you can be lifestyle without being swingers.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's a very important distinction, I think.
Look back at episode 1, you'll hear that I started this journey on this podcast to specify that there is a space for singles in this lifestyle, and unless you failed math, you'll realize that when you have a threesome.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think it was your sass that made me attracted to you in the first place, is to make me watch the rest of your videos.
That's
like
good
your
to know.
sarcasm and your sass.
Because I am very sassy.
You are, eh?
I am.